Well, today in the studio, we have an old friend back at SSP TV, a former co-worker, Tim Novotney, who is now a multimedia producer at WVIA TV. Tim, welcome back. We missed you.
I missed you guys too. I'm happy to be back, and thank you for having me here.
It is our pleasure, and the reason he is here is to talk about some really interesting things that he is working on right now. You had done a documentary, a little documentary short called The Secret Beneath Hazleton, and now you're expanding that into a larger documentary called The Secrets Beneath Hazleton. You've always been interested in documentaries, even when you worked here.
That is correct. While I was working at Samsung Productions, I produced a couple of documentaries with the people here. Did one on Angela Park, did one on Lakewood Park. We did one on the Cunningham Valley.
And then we also can't forget the Agnes Flood documentary.
Yes, I worked on an Agnes Flood documentary a couple years ago that premiered at the Kirby Center. It got a great turnout, and a lot of people really enjoyed that film, so that was another project that I was working on. I was always interested in documentaries. I love telling historical things, and I think that shows why I produced this documentary, the short documentary, and why I want to produce a longer documentary.
Well, now tell us about the short one first, The Secret Beneath Hazleton. For someone who didn't see it, tell them what they missed.
Basically, what The Secret Beneath Hazleton is growing up as a kid, I've always heard rumors that there was this mysterious underground city below the city. And I didn't know how true it was. And, as a kid, I had a friend that grew up in Latimer, Pennsylvania. He moved into the city. He just moved in a couple weeks. I came over to see him. He said, I want to show you this thing in this building. It was an old building. And we went down a couple flight of steps into the basement. I'm like, what's this? Why did you bring me here? He's like, because I want to show you this doorway behind the steps. And we went down another flight of steps into this big concrete chamber. And then in this chamber, there was this copper pipe, and there was these old, I guess people used to shower in there and that. And then there was this big metal black door. And I said, what is that? Now, I'm 16 years old at the time, so this is the most insane, fun thing I could possibly think about, because when you're 16, you're indestructible. You could do anything you want. You can't get hurt. And I said, what is this? And he said, this leads to the city beneath Hazleton. And so I said, all right, we got to go in this. So we ran up the steps as fast as we could. And this is one of those instances where I fell up the steps. I was trying to get upstairs so fast to get a flashlight so we can go and explore this underground city. And we couldn't find flashlights. We were digging through boxes. He just moved in. We found candles. There was actually 4 of us. It wasn't just me and this other guy. There was 4 of us. We all ran back down the steps. We went in there. We lit our candles. And the second we opened the door, all the candles blew out. So we realized it wasn't a good idea to explore it in that moment. And then we just never came back to it. A couple months later, he moved out of the apartment, and I never got to explore that. So that's been hanging on my conscience for like 30 years. Like, what's in this? Like 25 years. I'm not that old. Like, what's in this secret underground? And so when WVIA said, hey, we do these, they're short documentaries, they're called short takes. Do you have any ideas that you want to do one on? I said, yes.
So now you're trying to take this further. So where are we at now?
So we're definitely trying to make it longer. One of the things that we noticed when we put the short doc out there was the response from the public. We've never seen such a high demand on these videos. There was over 200,000 views on the 10-minute short. There's over 2.2 million views on the shorts that go with the short video, because we've made little shorts out of that video. So it definitely had one of the biggest pools for an audience. And then one of the most requested comments was, you should have made this longer. And just so people know, via short takes at WVIAs typically run 5 minutes. They were gracious enough to give me 10 minutes, and even then you guys wanted more. So because we're public media and we rely on viewers like you, especially the guy behind the camera, we need funding to produce these documentaries, and that's why we launched a Kickstarter to hopefully make a longer version, because there's so much stuff. I had to cut out of the first documentary, because when I originally finished it was 15, but they're like, no, you can't have 15. You had 10. This is the first time PBS, or where I work, WVIA, is doing a Kickstarter campaign for a documentary, so we're really hopefully it's successful. You can go to Kickstarter.com and search Hazleton, and it'll probably be the first project that pops up. Just make sure you spell Hazleton correct. And then you can go in there and you can see how to back it. It's really simple. You click on the tier that you want to back, you put in your credit card information, and then you become a backer of the project, and you get exclusive access to different things depending on the tier that you decided to back for the project.
So now you do have the support of the City of Hazleton on this project?
Yeah, we do have the support of the City of Hazleton. We did make it clear with the city that we want to preserve the history of these places, like the underground speakeasies and underground, other establishments, because there are underground businesses, but we don't want to reveal the location exactly where it is in the city, because we don't want to bring attention to people that might want to explore these on their own.
Congratulations on doing all of this. I wish you luck. I hope the project goes extremely well. Maybe you can come back later and talk about it after it's all said and done.
Yeah, once I fall in, you guys can throw a mic down the hole and you'd be like, how's it going down there? And I'll let you know all about it.
Sounds good. The one and only Tim Novotney.